Supposed to be. Yeah, look at that. Why is it saying this broadcast isn't available on X? All right, let's check. Let's check YouTube. Hey, everybody! If you're just joining in and you want to see my first ever podcast, we're live. And hit mute there. We're on YouTube. That's good. Let's check Facebook. Oh, God, my browser's giving me a hard time. Chrome doesn't want to load Facebook. Great. Okay, we won't look at it. Check it on the phone. How's everybody doing today? This is Mike, KO4PDI. You are watching Ham Fun with KO4PDI, and we are about to do a first ever live stream with the handsome and debonair Vern Six. We'll get to him in a second. First, let me just tell you, I've been doing ham radio since 2021. I'm a baby. I'm a new guy. I want to talk to as many people as I can to find out everything I need to know about ham radio. And I just wanted you to know these interviews, we're going to circle around having fun with ham radio and bringing people together with ham radio. A dinner I went to 2 years ago up at Huntsville, the keynote speaker came out and he said, "What is it with ham radio? You get 3 of them in a room and in 2 minutes you have 2 clubs." He's right. A lot of people don't get along, and that's not good. But one of the nice people I've met along the way is Vern Six. Vern Six lives in Texas. He's in the process of doing some renovations to his land. He's getting more. He just bought more land. Beautiful spread he has. So maybe we'll find out from Vern, how's he doing it? And what does he have fun with ham radio? Let's see. Hey, Vern. Good to see you, buddy. Man.
Hey, good to see you, Ron.
2 seconds ago.
What's that?
I said I just saw you 2 seconds ago before we started the live. We got 9 people watching us. Woo, T.O.'s on here. Wayne's on here. Wayne's a good follower. Wayne follows me. So, yeah, good to have you. So anyway, hey, Vern, what's new and exciting in your life today?
Oh, man, you name it. I'm out here in Quartzsite, Arizona, totally off grid at the moment, running off my brand new BioLino batteries, thanks to Kevin at BioLino Power and Mike, K at MRD, and all the guys, Steve, temporarily offline, and Joe Brett, KF5YVY, or K5YVY, and they all came and helped put in these batteries in my camper. And then T.O. and I did the power, with the solar power up on top. And then I've added about 300 watts more since T.O. and I played. And so it's kind of neat. I'm completely 100% off grid. Everything is here is solar powered. And it's kind of an interesting experience for sure.
So right now,
that's what's going on here. I'm going to be out here for 3 weeks. I'm going to be attending the big Quartz Fest Amateur Radio Festival that happens out here every year. But one of the biggest things I like to attend is the big RV show that's here. They have a tent that has 435 vendors, and it's 2 football fields long. It's going to be a good time. Yeah, there's lots of other things on there. There's several clubs out here. Other types of clubs. Nomads, people who drive school buses. This town is about 1,200 people, and in January it becomes about 2 million people. It's really amazing. And in fact, I was talking to a police officer today from the state of Maine who is here just to work security, be a security guard, basically coming down here to deputize as a deputy apparently, and going to be giving up his vacation to just be here to keep us all safe. So it's kind of an interesting place, lots of different eclectic sort of folks, and it's just a kind of my jam. I'm really enjoying it.
My Elmer and friend Jim, ND1C, he was there last year, and there was one night where there was so much wind, it's like everybody had to put up an antenna, got knocked off. Their masts got knocked down in the wind. I don't know if you were there last year. So
I was not.
Guy wires. All I can say is guy wires.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. It's pretty windy. It is about 35, 40 mile an hour winds yesterday. When I drove in, it was a 55 mile an hour gusts, and it was hard to keep the camper trailer on the road. I'll be honest with you. I made the mistake of carrying extra water just because there's nothing here at all, and I can hold 160 gallons of water. Well, that comes about to be what, roughly 1,300 pounds
Yeah. It's
of
about
water.
10 pounds a gallon.
Yeah. Yeah, so I dumped all the water on the way out here. Actually, I created a short for it on
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 YouTube. I
YouTube
saw it. I saw the
because it was
video. I
an
saw your face.
ordeal.
It was hairy to say the least. I always dreamt of having a nice Class C camper that I could drive around the country. And the way the economy's going lately, if my savings in my pension goes down any further, I just might sell everything I own and buy a motorhome and be a vagabond for the rest of my life. I might do that.
Renee and I did that for about 5 years before we went on mission and lived in Guatemala. And even after we came back, we lived in it for a little while. And it's a lot of fun. It's a different type of life. We enjoyed it. We saw, a lot of this country. I've been to every state except for Hawaii, no less than 4 times each.
Wow.
And we got to see a lot of the country. With her and I were in the camper, and we had a fifth wheel at the time, but it just wasn't for us. I mean, permanently. I mean, I enjoy it. I still take, like, I'm here by myself on a 3-week trip by myself, and so I do enjoy breaks with it. But to do it full time was just not something we wanted to do any longer.
Yeah, my buddy Jim, the one that went to Quartz Fest last year, he's got a Montana. I call it the Taj Mahal on wheels. The things are flying push outs. It's gigantic. He's coming to Hamcation. You'll get to see it at Hamcation if you're coming, and he'll be camping there. And he's got
as soon as I leave here, I head back to Texas. I'm there for 4 or 5 days, and then Renee and I take out. We're driving to Hamcation.
Beautiful. Great. I'll get to see you there too. All the YouTube guys are coming there. We're all staying at the same hotel, which is nice.
Correct.
The Rosen. So that'll be fun. And then I went to Hamcation 2 years ago. It was my first time there, and I was just overwhelmed. I'm new. Like I said, I got my license in 21. I got a tech in April and my general in August. And I've tried 2 times for my extra and didn't make it. But I'm going to try again. Hopefully by the time I get to Hamcation, I may have it already. I'm hoping. Okay. But cool. I found I used to think ham radio was glorified CB radio. And boy, did I learned that's not what it's about. I'm into satellites are my big thing. I love doing satellite contacts, especially on linear satellites.
I bought all this stuff, and my buddy Digital Rancher, he and I are traveling buddies. We've been to a lot of different shows together and different camping trips together. And he does a whole series on satellite stuff. So I basically bought everything he told me to buy. And so I bought the ICOM 2730. I bought the Arrow Yagi antenna.
Yeah, I got that too.
All the different goodies that he suggests. Why I think he just enjoyed spending my money because I can attribute several thousands of dollars.
730. I bought this instead. I bought the DH72 or the TH72D. And I love it. It's full duplex, but it's still only good for FM satellites. You can't do linear satellites on it. The radio he has, I don't know if that has sideband on it. The 2730, does that have sideband?
I believe so. I haven't even opened the box. I'll be honest with you. That's my point. And the year prior to me getting the bug about satellite, Robert was suggesting that I get some new camping gear. So I went out and bought the best tent and sleeping bag that he suggested. And so every year he just likes to spend a couple grand of my money, I think, is how that works. So
that's what friends are for, right?
I mean, exactly. So it's a lot of fun. But it's one of the things I want to try to do while I'm here is play a little satellite. I just had to get some things set up here. Since I've been here, I've added a 300 watt panel to my solar stuff, and
wow,
so it's been fun, and it's really cool because of all the RVers here, they have stores that are only here during the season, which is September to April.
Oh, okay.
And because this place just becomes a RV mecca, and they have a great solar place here in town. In fact, I'm going to be doing an interview on my channel, and with one of the solar vendors here, and he has a big store. They do one-day installs. You bring in your RV and you bring in the morning and it's completely solar and lithium ion on phosphate batteries and the whole 9 yards in one day. And so it's pretty exciting stuff. And so it's gonna be a lot of fun to go over. And he invited me over to go over and interview him and talk about him on the channel. So I'm going to do that, and sometime this week, actually, I hope, and release a video early next week. But there's all kinds of vendors out there. Everything you possibly want to be related to batteries and 12-volt systems and any of the off-grid stuff that you could possibly think of. It's here. The thing you have to worry about is, of course, if they use any of the cheaper grade equipment, you got to be careful of, like, radio interference. And so because they don't know much about radios, but they know a lot about DC and batteries and solar panels. So some of the solar panels are actually loud, from an RF standpoint aspect. But you buy good quality stuff, and you can find the cheap stuff here too. But it's just tons of it, and it's really amazing. Here at the spot where I'm at, it's not too terribly crowded. My nearest neighbor is about 300 feet away.
Oh, nice.
But over there where they're actually going to do the Ham Fest, I'm not going to pull my trailer over there. I'm just going to drive over to it. They're going to have them right next door to each other, like they're in an RV park or something. So you can have everything in between. You can be as secluded as you want out here, or you can be right next door to somebody. So
you redid the whole ham shack at home. You did it absolutely beautiful. I saw pictures of it. And then you get in your trailer and leave. What are you using radios in the trailer? What do you have working in the trailer right now as far as radio?
I just came with just the basics. I have the 891. Just a simple. It's the rig I take to go play POTA. I also have the Lab 599 TX 500, whatever that is, the little QRP rig that I use for doing WinLink and email and that sort of thing. I brought that as well. And then I've got the 2730 for doing satellites, and I've got the Kenwood TM-D710 GA for just doing the APRS and everything. And here at this place, it's got tons and tons of repeaters and all kinds of things, that link systems, the whole 9 yards. It's a lot of fun. This has got the best of all the worlds here. I think it's a neat little outing to be able to see all the different shows that are going on right now. The Rock and Gym show is going on in town. The RV show starts this weekend. Of course, the Rubber Tramp Rendezvous starts this weekend as well. And then the Lit Cactus, the Spot. I mean, there's all kinds of different groups that get together. So people come out here and they just park a sign and say, "This is our group," and next year they kind of meet in the same place. It's a lot of fun.
That sounds like fun. And yeah, I've heard a lot of stories about Quartz Fest and how nice it is. And I can just imagine living off grid out in the middle of nowhere. At night, the stars must be freaking amazing. I mean, it's
weird here. It's really weird here. The moon doesn't show its face until about 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, how does that? What's going on there? I mean, back home, you get the moon coming in just right after dark. You can kind of see. It's really strange here. So far, it's been between 12 and 1 o'clock in the morning before I'm able to look out and see the moon. It's just
that's just the time of month. That's the phase of the moon that it's in. It's even here. The phase is real late at night, but that's what's nice. If it doesn't rise at sunset, it's easier to see the stars. You must be able to see tons of stars
for sure. Yeah.
So okay, let's get into more important things.
I'm not sure I'm about any important things, but go ahead.
Well, I know for a fact, I don't know the details, but I know you were sick for a while. You were dealing with cancer. Are you still dealing with that, or is that over now? Did you get that accomplished?
I am dealing with a blood disorder that is, it's cancerous, but we are just basically in the wait and see standpoint of it. It's we're continuing to monitor it, looking at doing anything from, medicines or transfusions or any of those sorts of things. It's just a constant monitoring of it at this point. I don't want to get into all the gory details of that, but I had kidney cancer back in 2016, and that was pretty easy. I mean, I went in and had 2 partial nephrectomies, and they just basically take the bad part out and you're done. But in terms of what I'm dealing with now, it's blood related, and so we are in the watch it very, very, very closely. We're not at the stage where we can, actually do like any chemotherapy or anything like that. The next progression would be some sort of oral chemotherapy or blood transfusions.
Well, I want you to know I'll keep you in my prayers. I'm a
Yeah, I appreciate
devout
it.
Christian, even though sometimes I don't act like it. But then again, that's why Jesus had to die for my sins. I'm not making
Right?
excuses. But if you look over my shoulder,
Yeah.
I keep that cross. A friend of mine gave me that when I moved into my house, and I keep it in the shot because, and the American flag too. Those are the things that are important to me. And
Sure.
I have a prayer meeting I go on a prayer meeting every Tuesday and Thursday morning with my pastor on the phone at 6:30 in the morning, and I'll add you to my prayer list and people I'm caring about.
Oh,
I
thanks.
know life is so much more than what we see here. My brother passed away in 20, actually tomorrow will be 2 years since my brother passed away. And I believe it was because he got the jab. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I believe. But I that was the beginning of my transformation into my focus and realizing this is not it. This life that we have is not what life is about. It's about the future, about eternity. And it
For
made
sure.
things put everything in a different perspective for me. So when I see people in trouble or I see people dealing with
Sure.
things, first thing I want to do is ask Jesus to work with them and help them. And if this gets me kicked off YouTube, it gets me kicked off YouTube. So, oh, my friend Ray is asking, where is Vern right now? He's in Quartz Fest, Vern. He's out in the middle of this
Quartzite.
dead
Quartzite. Yeah, quartzite.
site using Starlink to get to us today. That's how he's able to get internet. And yeah, and he also said he's going to be at the show in Orlando on the 9th. Wonderful. And we're going to be doing
Cool.
a Parks on the Air, I think, on the Thursday. I got to find out the exact park that we're going to be at. But I'm just going to drive to the park from my house and then go to the hotel after it. It'll be nice. And so when do you think you'll be getting to Orlando? Thursday,
Um,
Friday, Wednesday?
I think we get there on Tuesday.
Okay. Oh, you're going to get there way early. Yeah,
Yeah.
the point is my friend is going on Wednesday with his trailer because the earlier you get there, the better the sight you get. So, and he has
Oh
a bunch
yeah,
of
for sure.
other guys coming from North Carolina and someplace else that are going to be camping with him there. They all have Montanas together. So there's going to be like 3 Montanas all packed together.
I'm just looking here. Yeah, so on the 7th is a Wednesday, and I think I'm not sure. It's not, for some reason it's not showing up on my calendar. Hold on one second. I'm looking to see where it's at, but it should. I think it's on the 7th is when we 7th or the 6th was when we'll actually arrive there. And I think the show is actually the 9th and 10th. Is that correct?
The show is the Friday and Saturday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So
Right.
if you get there on
Yeah,
Tuesday.
it's the 9th through the 11th, right? It's the 9th through the 11th. So I think we get there on the 7th.
A Facebook user just told me they're going to be at Lake Louisa State Park on Thursday doing Parks on the Air. So I got to remember that. Anybody out there, look for me. I'll be out there in my car. I'll be driving there. And Vern will probably be there too. He'll probably come out to the POTA. I'm a big POTA guy. I love POTA. I have a 891 in my car with a FTM 300. So I have both radios working in my car. And sometimes I'm just lazy. I just sit in the driver's seat, put the ATOS antenna up and start making contacts that way. But I also have it set up to do FT8. So with a digi-rig, which makes it, I get into everything as deep and as much as I can because I want to, I swear to God, I must be ADD because if I don't have 10 things going at the same time, I feel like I'm missing something. I don't know why that is. Or maybe I just got PTSD. I don't know. But I've never been to a war, so I'm not going to say that because there's guys with a lot worse problems than me with that. But you mentioned to me once that you had, I asked you if you had anything in the works as far as things for sale that have to do with ham radio or maybe coffee. You want to tell us about your coffee fundraising thing you're setting up with your wife?
Yeah, well, my wife and I have we've just done a soft opening right now, and we are a fundraising company. We help schools and organizations, groups, that sort of thing, to raise funds. Instead of selling, candy bars and cookie dough, we provide them with an opportunity to sell, really, really, really good single source coffee. And we have about 31 different single source coffee, and then we have about 37, I think, flavored and blends. We've got quite a bit. It's a lot of fun. It's just kind of getting off the ground. We've got several smaller schools signed up already that just kind of a test thing, and it's just a lot of fun. We're having a good time getting it going. The company is called Purpose Brew, and our slogan is "Cause plus coffee equals Purpose Brew." And so we're basically going to help a lot of folks, basically raise money. And it's been a lifelong dream to always do something and that kind of gives back and changes things. And Renee and I were full-time missionaries in Guatemala, and then we still help with with missionary efforts there. But we actually lived there. An orphanage helped to get it going, and helped. It was kind of going when we got there. We did everything we could to help with medical missions and coordinating and doing a variety of different things with that group. And fun. It was one of the most enjoyable things we've ever done in our lives, basically. And so it's just kind of who we are. We like to just kind of do something that's kind of our philosophy of religion. I won't get into my religion, but I'm very much a Christian. But we kind of live by the standard of do more good in the world than bad. And so that's what we try to do. We both try to do whatever we can to spread spread that news in some way, and to just kind of live the life that we want to have others that will listen to. Nobody's going to listen to me preach, but maybe they'll listen to how we live our lives. That's kind of what we do, and that's kind of what's the genesis for Purpose Brew and all of that. So.
Well, I'll keep you in my prayers. I think that's a great idea. I understand what you're talking about. Like, besides my brother passing away, I had a tumor on my thyroid. I had a tumor on my kidney. It was misdiagnosed as pancreatic cancer on my pancreas. And I thought I was going to die. And it took 6 months of testing before they figured out it wasn't cancer. But the day they told me it wasn't cancer, I couldn't say that without crying for 3 days. That's how emotionally, the pressure that you're under when you think, is this going to kill me?
Oh, yeah.
And it right away focuses your attention, and you stop worrying. A great saying I heard when I was in the hospital, I had a heart attack at 41. I heard a great saying when I was in the hospital.
How old are you, Mike?
I'm 69.
Okay.
I'm 69 years old. And I heard that, and this saying got to me, and I remembered it ever since. Rule number 1, don't sweat the small stuff. Rule number 2, everything is small stuff. And my experience with that was they were bringing me down to a room to do an ultrasound of my heart. And I was sitting in a wheelchair waiting at the elevator with the nurse. And 2 guys are having a heated discussion about something. They weren't arguing, but they were both being very heated and forceful about their opinions. And I was listening to them, and in my head I went, what is so important that you're this riled up about it? It's not that. I almost died. I had a heart attack. That meant nothing to me what they were arguing about, but they were arguing about it. So I realized, don't sweat the small stuff. Everything is small stuff. And the bottom line is, and I've prayed this prayer more than once lately, dear Jesus, feel free to rapture me at any moment. I'm ready. Come and get me. I want to go home. You can end this whole thing for me right now. Just take me back, because I'm ready to go. I mean, my mom's 92, so maybe I'll end up living as long as she does. I don't know, but she did have heart problems in her 80s. She called me up and said, I got 2 stents. And I'm like, really? Call me when you get 5. I got 10. I think if I get 2 more stents in my heart, I get a set of dishes. I think that's how it works. But yeah, but I've been through it, man. But yet, when you do for others selflessly, not looking for something in return, it is such a blessing. People thank you for doing what you're doing, and I say, no. I'm getting more out of this than you think I'm giving.
So, and that's absolutely right. I mean, it's like, we do a couple different things, and Mike made it a public deal that Renee and I, for the past 3 years, have been providing the pavilion in Huntsville. I'll tell you what, I get such joy out of going to Huntsville and seeing the party. That everybody's there. That we had some little kid. I say little kid. He's probably 10 or 11 years old,
Right.
and he was there. And he was playing Poda on Mike KMRD's
Set
station.
up.
And then he came over, and after he told Mike, "Thank you for letting me use it," he came over and shook my hand, and he shook it as hard as any adult man's ever shook it. And he shook it. And he says, "I want to thank you, sir. I had a great time." I'm like, just blew me away. This kid was just having a blast. He was playing Poda and just having a great time. And it's
That's
just
what it's all
all the
about.
other people get together for the food and the activities together, and it's what it's all about. And you know, my friend Tio, Steve at Temporary Offline, he said it best. It's just all about the community we're building, and if you're going to be a friend, to have friends, you have to be a friend. And I think that's really kind of where we're at with this whole community thing. Some of these friendships we've created over the past 5 or 6 years, and this YouTube / ham radio convergence of folks has been just remarkable. I mean, Steve and his wife Chris, they were just guests out at our place and for a couple of months out at the ranch, because he has an RV channel, I should say, that about living in his
Right.
RV and life in the RV. And so we have 4 camper pads that we built at our ranch, and so it was kind of nice to have him there. It was great to have his wife and my wife. They got along, and they went to the country club to go to the gym all the every other day, and it was just kind of neat. So you get to build some of these relationships that are just are just going to be lifelong relationships. And everybody knows my fondness for Mike, K at MRD. Mike is near and dear to my heart. He's just a great, great guy. And I think you mentioned, what he did for me with the batteries and that sort of thing. That really touched me. And his video just makes me tear up every time I watch the damn thing. But
Yeah, there's something about Mike that I just was drawn to. I guess it's his
yeah,
style or whatever. He just looks like a regular guy, but he really knows his stuff. And I tried to stress that with people when I started my YouTube channel. I said, you're not going to see me analyzing the spurious emissions off of Baofeng. That I'm not that guy. I have fun with my ham radios. When you tell me use this for this, I buy it, I use it, and I go, yeah, you're right, it works great. And then I venture out into areas that are totally new that people don't know about,
right.
like that Australian coil that I bought. It's called, what is it called? The Mad Dog coil. I just picked one up, and I just talked to Mike. I got him on Parks on the Air. He hunted me. I was like, finally, you're hunting me. You got me in your book. It was great. And he just got one, so he's getting ready to do a review. I did a video on it already, but I'm not super technical about it because I am honest. In the words of Shakespeare, a man's got to know his own limitations, and I'm not that guy. I'm not an engineer. I'm a play guy. I play. I get as much stuff as I can and I play with it. So I really appreciate his videos. Josh, too. Josh gave me some great advice when I first started out 2 years ago at Huntsville. He said, just don't do what everybody else does. And I said, yeah, you're right. I don't want to do that. That's not me.
Yeah.
I'd rather learn about personalities and people. So how about with this? I didn't ask you this yet, but when did you start? When did you get your license, and what drove you to ham radio and keeps you going?
Well, it's funny. Way back when I was a kid, my dad was a ham radio operator, and I was out. He had a big long wire out in the on the fence line, and I was a little snot-nosed brat. Basically, I tore it up, and surprisingly, I didn't get my ass whipped over the deal. I just kind of got a conversation about it and what it was for and how to use it, and went back in the shack, and he showed me. And my very first QSO was with an army soldier on the island of Guam, and this is about, I don't know, maybe 1972, 1973, somewhere in there. And about 3 weeks later, a QSL card came in the mail and a photograph, an old Polaroid photo of the soldier. I had that thing forever and a day. I mean, I had it forever and ever and ever. And then after my ex-wife and I divorced, I put it in storage, and of course, that storage unit had a fire. and so lost that. But it was very near and dear to me. So fast forward to when Renee and I went to Guatemala. Some of these places you could only communicate with with radio. There wasn't any cell phones in some of the spots, and there wasn't any telephones up in the mountains and so that. So we had a very good friend of ours, Father Jerry. He was a Catholic priest that lived there, and hold on one second. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm taking care of it.
That's okay.
And we had used his radio to communicate up and down the mountains, basically. So I really loved it. So when we came back in 2011, I decided to go ahead and get my license. As luck would have it, we were in a very small community of Houston, Missouri, in Texas County, Missouri, which is kind of funny. But the Houston had a great amateur radio club, and they all had a net every single night. And it was just a lot of fun. You just basically got to know all the people there. And so I bought my first rig and studied for the test, got my my technician's test there. And then a couple of years, we moved back to Texas, and we just weren't, just kind of wasn't our space. We were Texans, basically. And it was nice, and the people were great, but we just want to be home. Excuse me. And we didn't have any family there, so wasn't really any draw there. So we came back to Texas, and I went ahead and got my my general and my extra after that. And Renee was, pretty excited about it as well. She's the girl who does the jumping out of parachutes and makes QSOs now. But
Yeah.
so she's a general. We're both currently studying CW at the moment, and she's studying for her advanced freefall license. She's going to go to jump school in June, I think, and so once she gets that under her belt, I think she's going to set for the extra as well. So we have a lot of travel this year, though, so it'll be great.
That's my buddy Jim's doing a lot of traveling too. Him and his wife are both extras, so they actually give the test. They went to a Montana rally and up in Elkhart, Indiana, and they did a bunch of tests up there, and then they also went to Myrtle Beach or South Carolina somewhere, and they're actually giving tests at these events that they go to and getting people's licenses and upgraded and all. We had a bunch of people from between Elkhart and South Carolina. A bunch of new hams came into the business. One guy took his tech and his general at the same time. Another guy wants to come and take his tech. His tech, his general, and his extra all at the same time. And when we go to Hamcation, or before Hamcation. So I don't know what's going to happen with that, but I'm going to make another attempt at the extra in about a week or two. So I think
I said the wrong too. I think it's accelerated free fall license, not advanced. But but no, when you
with Carlos, right?
Yeah, she's going to go to school with Carlos. That's right. Yeah. He's going to be, and I'm not exactly sure. My wife is texting me. I've done something wrong. She keeps telling me that I'm saying advanced and it's accelerated. Yes, dear, I hear you.
Where is she? Get her in the picture. Pull up a chair.
No, she's in Texas. She's in Texas.
She didn't come yet, Sports Fest?
Yeah. No, she's coming next year. This was the year to work out all the kinks in the solar system. And
you and Jim will get along. He's got like 1,200 watts of solar on his Montana. He can go completely off grid and run his air conditioners and everything, which is incredible.
Yeah.
That trailer that you're in is beautiful. I'm looking at it. It looks like I'd like to live in an apartment like that. And it's so nice. And I'm like, he's in a trailer. He drove that to Nevada. That was cute.
Oh yeah, to Arizona. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And
so we talked about your coffee company. You're doing fundraisers for schools with that. We talked about how you got started, right? And what we didn't talk about, and we talked about how you dealt with some health issues and you got a good faith in Jesus to take care of you. That's great. The next thing I want to know about is you're working on a product line to sell, things to sell, dealing with ham radio. Tell everybody about that.
Yeah. Renee and I have, got pretty much a pretty decent electronics lab at the house, in the new shack. I think I've showed a lot of folks that. And so we're going to be doing a lot of different products. Basically, the first thing we're going to come out with is some bandpass filters, and they'll be available assembled or in kits. And we're still working on all of those. And I think there's going to be kind of a neat thing to say that that's something that's made here locally in the U.S. and by us, basically. And we're going to see how it goes. I mean, we're everybody can buy the stuff off of Banggood, and if it works great, Mike says his works great. I've had other people who said theirs didn't work great. Ours are going to work great, and that's
sure.
That's the key. And so we've got all the test equipment and all the right things that we want to do with it, and we're pretty excited. We built a few prototypes. They're working well. I've sent off to have the printed circuit board manufactured. As soon as we get that back, then we'll start trying to assemble some. I've got a programmer working on a website for us, and it's gonna be something we just kind of see how it goes, and if that actually takes off and there's actually a market for good ham gear like that, then we've got some other things, some antennas. I want to build a couple of my own amplifiers, that sort of thing. So looking forward to playing with that a little bit.
That sounds nice. That you and your wife doing it together is a beautiful thing. That's beautiful that you get to do that. You both have a love for the same thing, except you're not jumping out of airplanes.
No, I've jumped out, several times before, and that was kind of the running joke, was that I wanted to get 15 before I stopped, but because I've had so many injuries to my body unrelated to parachute jumping. I've had so many injuries. I've broken back and busted up knee and a couple other things. So we were at this YouTuber's party, and she said she would take the 15th jump for me, and everybody started whipping out $100 bills to pay for the airplane. And it's like talk shit, get hit. Basically what everybody was saying. We didn't let them pay for it, but the very next morning she was in the air. And she was jumping out of the plane. So yeah, it was pretty wild.
I met Carlos at Huntsville 2 years ago when Frank made his first jump. And I have a friend down here in DeLand, Florida, who works in a company that develops the flying suits for the military. And every now and then he's got to fly out to Moffett Air Force Base and test them. And then when they get it working the way they want it to work, he teaches the military guys how to use these flying suits. But he said to me back when I was 274 pounds, which wasn't that long ago, he said, "You lose 50 pounds, I'll do a tandem jump with you." I was like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah." Well, I lost 67 pounds since then. And I use Herbalife. I do shakes and Herbalife waffles in the morning, and then I have a nice meal at night of steak and vegetables, and or chicken wings and vegetables. That's what I eat, and I lost 67 pounds. Took me about 1.5 years to lose the weight, but I've kept it off now over almost 2 years. So in March it'll be 4 years that I've been on this setup, and it's keeping me in good shape. What really is, people always say, "How you lose weight? How you lose weight?" Especially this week, I have more people ask me, "How did you lose weight?" I say, "I changed my lifestyle." "Yeah, but how did you lose weight?" "I changed my lifestyle. I don't eat 3.5-pound bowls of pasta a week anymore. I don't eat big giant hero sandwiches for lunch anymore. I'll have for lunch, maybe I'll cut a couple of slices of ham on a little tiny roll. That's it." But like today, I went to the Elks Club. I started running a lunch for ham radio guys there. And there's a buffet every Wednesday at noon. And they always have the stuff that's bad for you. They have the rice, they have the potatoes, the pasta. I'm like, "Just give me the chicken. Just give me the chicken. You put the sauce on it, and I'll take one roll and dunk the roll, and that's all I eat for lunch." But I'm not even hungry now. I don't even have to eat tonight. So it works out, and it took time. But nobody really wants to put the work in. I try to explain to them.
My wife and I are pretty much, carnivore for the most part. I mean, she is much better at it than I am, because I'll be honest with you, man. When I gotta have some Mexican food, I'm gonna have some chips and salsa. That's how it's gonna work. But I'm just saying. I mean, the fat boy got fat for a reason. I get it, but it's just my deal is I gained so much weight because when I broke my back, I stopped doing all the activities I used to do. I was in great physical shape when I was in the military. I was in great physical shape after that. I did a lot of canoeing, a lot of kayaking, did a lot of outdoor activities, and then I went to sedentary lifestyle and still consumed everything I consumed. And my wife is much better at it than I am, but at eating the way we're supposed to eat. But I'll typically eat carnivore, and then I might eat some onions and jalapenos and maybe some mushrooms, some lettuce, that sort of stuff, maybe a salad or something.
Yeah, I
but
love Mexican
basically,
food.
if it grows, I typically don't eat it. We're pretty much carnivore. I mean, again, not 100%. I don't want to get the purists who go back
Right.
and find a photo of something on my plate that was a vegetable of some sort.
What? Wait, potato chip? You liar!
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and I get the worst emails too. I don't know what it is. I must have a sign on my forehead that I'm not able to see, or on my back or something like that. It just says "mess with Vern." If you go back into Mike's videos, his Monday night mailbag, you'll see the guy who wrote to me and just flamed me after the last event up in Huntsville. Saying I was trying to buy my friends. So Mike unloaded on him.
I saw that.
And,
I saw that. Yeah.
I get that stuff all the time, Mike. I mean, it's amazing the amount of twits. That's what I'm gonna call them, twits, that just come out of the woodwork.
My first meeting of Jason, Ham Radio 2.0, it was
Great
at
guy. Love Jason.
Right. Well, what happened was he had done a video. Go back, way back when the FT5D came out, which I love. I happen to have mine right here. When that came out, he did a video on it. He says, this is not going to be a comparison between the 5D and the 3D. So he proceeded to tell what's different about the 5D from the 3D. So I left a comment on his video and I said, you said you weren't going to talk about the 3D. You were just going to talk about the 5D. And all you did was talk about the 3D. And like I said, like as a joke, I didn't put LOL after it, though. I should have, but I didn't. Well, when he saw that and he flamed me. He was like, hey, buddy, what do you know? Blah, 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 blah. And I saw him in Hamcation. I put my arm around him. I said, Jason, I was not flaming you when I said that. I was just having a little fun. I said, you got to get thicker skin. And that's one thing I learned. You're doing live feeds. You're getting on Facebook. You're getting on Twitter. You're getting on YouTube. Just got to expect it, man. It's coming. They're good. The stuff's
It's amazing. It's amazing.
You can't let it bother you. You just got to say,
no,
whatever.
I don't, and I
just bow my head and I say, whatever his problem is, Jesus, help him out.
I just delete it and move on. I don't even.
Yeah. My thing that's really a pet peeve that gets me are these guys that cause intentional QRM when you're doing parks on
we had one of those lids
that follow me. He followed me. I moved, and he came and followed me.
Yeah, when Renee was doing her parachute jump, sorry, there was a delay there. The stream locked up in a second. When Renee was doing her parachute jump, people were intentionally following it. We changed frequencies 3 times. They were intentionally trying to cause interference for her doing that skydive.
And she's got a limited time,
Yeah, like 10 seconds, basically. But yeah, so, they weren't going to be able to QRM me. I was at the drop zone, right? I was at the landing zone. So, I mean, I was going to be her strongest signal and vice versa. And I was her first contact. So that's what matters. But,
that's appropriate.
We could have been able to had a lot more things happen. I mean, she wanted to have more of a fall time rather than canopy time. And so, it was her first jump. She, and she wanted to work, just the people on the ground, because we knew we could overcome the QRM, and it would also give her the most time to do what she wanted to do in the air. And, it was just, it's unfortunate though that people were they were using digital, and they were trying to actually, when we would change frequencies, they would change frequencies with us. And it was just, those people, there's a special place for those folks. But it was just unfortunate. But
what I don't understand, there's a amateur radio club in St. Augustine, and they have a repeater, and they run their net every Wednesday night, at I think it's 7 o'clock. They do their net, and I usually get on that net. I haven't lately because the antenna's down that I used to get them, but I took it down. But I'd be on the net, and you hear this guy burping and making noises and screaming on a radio just to interrupt them. They have a few ideas who it might be, and I'm like, well, why don't we have a fox hunt? While you guys are having the net, we'll all go out with our little Yaggies and find out where this guy is. He's got to be close. He might even be the same guy that's bugging me on my Parks on the Air. Whatever you do Parks on the Air at 17 meters, they come out of the woodwork. They're like, oh, you're not supposed to do contesting on 17 meters. We're not contesting. We're doing Parks on the Air. And I sit there going, what life do you have that you have time to just waste mine? I don't understand it.
Everybody complains about sad hams and all the rest of it. It's what I believe it is that when people do something that somebody doesn't understand, that person feels stupid. And when a person feels stupid, it's like a dog that feels scared that's going to bite, and they're going to try to be just an ass. And I just ignore them. Say, hey man, let me show you how this works. Rather than just say a bunch of sad hams and they're just got a problem. They do have a problem. They're feeling inadequate, and they'll always be inadequate in my mind. But if they want to learn, then step up. And if they want to be horses' asses, well, then you come to the wrong place. And so I just try not to let it bother me. I'm not very good at not letting it bother me. It does get to me, but
they don't say anything, and then they'll go away. And I'm like, yeah, but in the meantime, I'm getting interrupted when I'm trying to do what I love to do. And
all I try to do is I just try to hold a mirror in their face and just basically just show them the what that really looks like, what they're really doing. But it's not a huge deal to me. I don't get I don't do a lot of POTA. I do POTA when I got a lot of friends around. My buddy Joe Brett came down also. We didn't talk about him earlier. He and his wife came down to Circle 6, and we all went out and did a POTA together. And we had 5 operators at a park, and on Renee's birthday, my wife's birthday. So it was Renee, Joe Brett, Steve, Timber Offline, and Mike, KMRD, and myself. We all played POTA. It was really a lot of fun. We didn't have any problems. So for the 99% of the time, we never have any problems. When you get that one guy who wants to just go nuts, I just delete him. I don't even worry about him.
Right. Yeah. Well, the good news is Jason at least has been highlighting when people are getting prosecuted for this or getting caught. And I'm glad, because there were people out there on YouTube saying that, oh, the FCC doesn't care. They don't go after them. Even the guys in this club, I try to tell them, why don't we do something about it? And they're all like, nah, just ignore it. It means nothing. I'm like, this guy's really obnoxious that gets on there. And I stopped going to the net. I don't want to go. I don't want to listen to that. I don't want to hear it, so I just get off it. There's so much stuff in ham radio to do. Like I said, I had 7 astronaut contacts on the ISS that people say, oh, you're being greedy. Let somebody else have a chance. And all this. I'm like, hey, I offer every ham in my county, come to my house. I'll set up my radio, use my radio to make all the contacts you want on the ISS. Come and do it. I'll let you use my stuff. So this way they stop complaining. But I just happen to be retired. I don't have a lot to do every day. I'm always playing ham radio all day long every day. So every time there's a good pass coming by,
That's my dream, just to be able to play ham radio all damn day.
You'll get there.
Unfortunately, I still work. I'm still out here, even though I know, right? It's a 4-letter word, but even though I'm still out here in the desert, in the camper and off grid, I still have to work every single day. So I've got. I brought my laptop, but I also brought my desktop just in case if I had a problem, I'd turn on the generator and use my big laptop, use my big desktop. But so that's why I packed more than I needed to for this trip. Like I say, it was mostly for, approving making sure work all the kinks out of the system here. But
I got news for you. We were talking about you were getting ready to do satellites. That radio you bought, that does have CIV control, which means you could use this little baby. See this? Do you ever see this box? The SAT box?
I've seen something about it, but no.
I have 3 of them.
Really?
And I work very closely with the guys that make it. I bought one that didn't have GPS, and it was $185. How can you go wrong spending $185? So I bought one. Well, within 5 minutes of getting this, I was talking on a satellite, and I was blown away. What this does is it downloads from the internet all the data you need for the Doppler effect, for a rotor direction, for all that stuff. It downloads it onto this. And then you hook this up to your radio, and it does the Doppler effect on your radio for you. So it automatically keeps tuning.
Does it do the azimuth elevation and what have you for your antenna as well?
Yes. I have this hooked up to my Yaesu 5500 rotor with 2 Yagis on it, and that's what handles whenever I'm doing satellite contacts, that the antennas point right at the satellite. But if you want to use it portable, you could do that too. All you need is a little power supply for it. It takes a USB power. That's it. 5 volts. Huh. It'll run it.
Well, I'll have to find out where you got that. I'd be interested in getting one of those. So
here it is right on the bottom. csntechnologies.net.
Huh.
There it is right there. CSN, they're up in Connecticut. A bunch of nice guys, Keith and Mike. I talk to them whenever I have an issue. I talk to them. So I bought the one that was $185. It went bad. I sent it back to them. They said they'll fix it. It was under warranty. They weren't charge me anything. They fixed it, and he says to me, he goes, if you want me to, for $50, I'll upgrade it to GPS. I said, well, you know what? I don't want to be without it. So I'm going to buy another one with GPS, and you can put the GPS in the one you're fixing too. So he did. Wow. So then I had 2. Then they told me, oh, by the way, we're coming out with another one. It's going to be they're $275 now with GPS. The new ones are going to have Bluetooth. And I said, are you telling me I'll be able to use this with my 705? They said, not yet. They haven't figured out how to do that yet, but they're going to try. But it will have Bluetooth in it. And so they sent me one with Bluetooth by itself, and I've used it. It's actually the one I use right now. I have that one connected right now. So it's a great little gadget, man. And all I want to do is find a way, since you're an extra and you're an intelligent, handsome man, you could probably tell me how to do this. I want to make a mini rotor for the Arrow 2 antenna. A tiny rotor. All I need is elevation and azimuth. It doesn't have to have any brains at all. Just make it work like the Yaesu rotor, that I could hook it up to this and have this control it. And I don't need GPS in it. I don't need any of that. I just need a dumb 2-motor rotor, one to do elevation, one to do azimuth. I haven't figured out how to do that yet, but when I do, I'm going to manufacture that.
There are a lot of people building those, and that's something that I would be interested in doing. I certainly have probably have most of the parts to do that in my shack, but yeah, that's definitely something I would be interested in doing. I think it'd be a lot of fun for sure.
Yeah. Well, all you need is there's one 10-pin connector that goes between the radio between the rotor and the sat box, and that plugs in on the top. If you look at the top of it here, here's where you plug the rotor in right here. And then the radio just got the CIV cable goes in there, and the rotor plugs in there, and the power goes in there, and you're done. And you're all set. And all you need is 5 volts to power the thing. Then you connect it to a Wi-Fi so it can download everything. But the nice thing is you can download everything into it, then take it with you and go someplace, and it keeps the memory.
Cool. Yeah, no, that'd be very interesting. I have to get one of those.
Well, that's what I've been using, and I'm having a blast with it. And
cool.
Man, I can't believe we've been talking for 50 minutes already. That's amazing.
But yeah, I have a hard stop here in about 9 minutes. I have a meeting, but
no, that's okay. I got to eat dinner, not a big dinner. I'm gonna eat a light dinner, waffles probably.
It's what time is it? It's 4:52 here. I don't know why they started meeting at 5 o'clock, but I have a meeting.
7 o'clock here. It's going to be 7. But anyway, Vern, it's been a pleasure. I never met you, never got to talk to you before. We met once, but I never got to talk to you. I think I thanked you at Huntsville for getting the pavilion there. That was really nice.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I go back to something that Steve said, temporary offline. It's all about building the community. And that's what all this is. It's some of those people think that the community is in Discord and those sorts of things. I personally don't like Discord, but I love the idea of Discord. I just don't like the fact that every time I turn it on, I have to reboot it and reinstall it and what have you. But I love the community we have built. I say we. I love the community that I'm a part of. And I love the community that's just, I think that most of the YouTubers who are involved in, and I'm a very small channel, like less than 1,300 subscribers.
Right. That's me.
But
I got less than 400. I think I need.
well, it's just, my point being is the community is what this is all about, and the fact that we could call each other. I mean, so T.O., came out and helped with the solar. Mike came out and surprised the hell out of me with some batteries. Joe Brett came out and did an mobile install, and he's got some skills. He needs to open up a shop doing mobile installs. I'm just going to tell you that. And so my point is, it's just you get to know people, and then the next thing you know, you just have a great time. We took them all down to San Antonio because we wanted to be good hosts. Wanted to show them the Alamo, which is near and dear to our hearts, sacred land. The whole 9 yards.
I saw that picture too. I saw the pictures of the Alamo.
Yeah, and so we had a big cookout. We had all these things we planned. We thought, okay, we're gonna just go show them, and it's like, then somebody said, I think it was Joe's wife Noelle said, I just want to be around people, just be and so we went back and cooked steaks, and we played Uno all night, and we had a blast. 7 adults acting like kids of our age, in our group anyway. Not kids today, but we just had so much fun. Low tech, amazing time, and just had the best time ever. And that's the community that I'm talking about, just to be able to do that. And I've got several people in this hobby that I do that with. I mean, a good friend of mine, KV5SIX, big boy. He has a great YouTube channel. We get together every chance we can, but we get together every September in Mena, Arkansas for the Ham Fest up there. And we do everything. I have video of him riding the little bitty train. The little train that goes around the park. And whatnot.
Wow.
We just have a great time. And he's 6'8". I'm 6'5". He's 6'8". He makes me look cool.
Well, I thoroughly enjoy the camaraderie when I go to Huntsville. Every one of the YouTubers has been so nice to me and treated me like an equal.
It's a great group.
Yeah, and let's just see. I see there's a couple of questions in the chat. If anybody has a question, quick, put it in there now. This guy, Wayne, is asking me what rotor do I use. I have the Yaesu 5500 rotor, and it comes with a cross arm, and then you get your own antennas to put on it. So there's that for you. And can we get a sat box, he asked. Also, yes, you can. Go to csntechnologies.net. Tell them I sent you. I don't have any affiliation with them or anything. They're not big enough to be giving out money that they're earning. They're trying to make money so they could build more of these things. And they're upgrading them all the time. Soon they'll be announcing the Bluetooth version, which will be a lot of fun to use. And they already gave me one. So when the time comes, I'll be able to upload the firmware and use the Bluetooth. But if anybody has any questions, come on now real quick. You got 2 minutes. Ask me a question. I don't see anything coming in the chat. We still have 10 people watching us, which is really nice. I'm going to leave this on my YouTube channel so other people can watch it and then ask questions later on. And if anybody wants to get in touch with you, Vern, we just go to @whatsup with6. That's your YouTube channel?
That's my YouTube channel, and it's also my Twitter handle as well. So
okay. And the call sign's Kilo Victor 5 Sierra India X-ray. And you can get him. You ever get on the air doing HF at night, trying 80 meters or anything like that? Yeah, I got to find you. I should be able to get you. I can get a lot of people in Texas often.
Yeah, so all the time. I'm on all the time, and I love to be on. For me, I like to rag chew. I use some digital modes such as WinLink, but I'm not much of an FT8 kind of guy. It's not my deal. Certainly love the technology, but to me, it's just I like to hear the voices, and so that's what I use. I just get on the radio and chit chat basically.
Well, Vern, I got to tell you, thank you for coming on. You're my first guest. This is the #1 podcast that I've done, the first one. And
I'm glad you chose me. I'm happy to do it, and thank you for having me. It's an honor. And Mike, I can't wait to see you next month. In just a little under a month now, down in Orlando. We'll be there for sure.
Already got my hotel room booked. I'm ready to go.
We do as well. That's a cheap hotel room. That's nice too.
Yeah,
for $80 a night or whatever it was their charges. You can't beat that.
Yeah. The only thing you got to deal with is the traffic getting from the hotel to the event. I I had a Best Western right on that main drag that the fairgrounds are on. I mean, literally 2 miles from the hotel, from the event last year. But I was all by myself. I was like, this is so boring. I'm all by myself out here. So and plus I was dating a girl in Oviedo back then, and I went to see her one night. But otherwise, I'm broke up with her, so I won't be going out to see any women while I'm there. Sad to say.
Can't imagine.
I'm a single guy. Like I tell you, Vern, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for giving us the insight into your life and what life's all about.
Man,
And
anytime, whatever you want. If I can help anybody in any way, feel free to reach out. Somebody has an idea for a ham radio product that isn't currently in manufactured, let me know. Renee and I are seriously looking at seeing what we can do to just create products and ham radio products. We're excited about the possibility of that. So if you got any ideas, reach out. We're both electronics. Basically I like to play with electronics more than she does, but we're both looking to do the manufacturing of these items, together. So we're looking forward to it.
enjoy your time out in the desert, and I'll see you when you get back here to Orlando. Take care,
Okay,
Vern.
buddy. Take care, man. 73. All right.
73.
Bye-bye.
Well, everybody, that was Vern Six. I hope you enjoyed that. That was my first podcast ever. If you saw me an hour before this started, you would have been like, this is never going to go on the air. My computer kept crashing. I was trying to make a nice video. You can see that video on Facebook right now. That was going to be the opening to this podcast, but turned out it wasn't, and that's okay. But I got to figure out what's wrong with my computer. We're going to be changing a video card, I believe. I can't thank you all enough for coming to my channel and watching my first ever podcast. Hopefully, as time goes on, the production value will increase, like my knowledge of ham radio has over the last 2 years. So what I'll say to you is what I say to people. Remember this saying, you are enough. You are where you're supposed to be, and you are loved. What that means, you're enough. Today, where you are, the height, the weight, everything you are is enough to deserve love. You're where you're supposed to be. If it's a pleasant situation, enjoy it and thank God for it. If it's not a pleasant situation, use it as motivation to get you out of that situation. And you are loved. No matter how bad life ever gets, no matter how down you ever feel, if you weren't here, somebody would miss you. So make sure you always remember those people in your life that love you. And on that note, I will say this is Kilo Oscar 4, Papa Delta India. Thank you so much again. KO4PDI, Ham Fun Guy. Follow me on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And have a wonderful week. KO4PDI, I'll be clear, 73.